Yeah. There are guys. There are many guys. Many people, many individuals, many different individuals and peoples around the world. You know what they do? They overlook sleep. And there are idiots. There are some idiots that think it's cringe to sleep. It's stupid. It's like it's a competition of not caring. How is it cringe to sleep? Some people are perceived as cool because they don't sleep. Disgusting. 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 One of the biggest problems is that you can adapt to this bad sleep. Meaning, you can adapt to insufficient amount of sleep. And sleeping has many benefits. I don't even know if we can cover them all in this video, although this video will be pretty darn long, but improve your sleep will make you taller, you will grow a bit taller through the growth hormone, which you will get. Even by getting more sleep, you get more growth hormone. And you will have a competitive advantage against people in every space. Let's say in the gym, in your business, in your work, in basically everything. You will have a strong advantage against other people. Sleep recharges dopamine and will make that motivation, that desire for greatness better. That's also why instant gratification is very dangerous when we get stuck and get that false sense of achievement, accomplishment through not doing anything productive, not doing a shit essentially. It's wasting our time. And sleep, it literally increases the size of your balls, meaning more sperm, more testosterone. Fun facts, did you know that the benefits of some other benefits of sunlight is that you can get vitamin D and loads of testosterone. Loads. So by your balls and you have more, by your balls getting bigger, and when you get more sperm, your testosterone increases, or your testosterone increases while you sleep. So if you sleep more, you get even more testosterone. So it's actually being formed and created while sleeping, testosterone, that is. When you have, let's say, have the sexy answer, I do think it's myself it's unsexy to say that sleep is useless. It's the sexy answer. No, it's the unsexy in my opinion. And they say, oh no, sleep is useless, it's wasting my time, I'd rather work hard instead. Why are we sleeping? Cringe. I have something to tell you, right? You're probably the same guy who procrastinates or never getting his deep work sessions in because he clearly got nothing else to do. And he got nothing done, right? He needs that more time because he didn't get his things done. What are you doing? If you're not going to sleep, you're literally four times as de-efficient. What I mean is you're 4 times more efficient while you sleep. So you're basically getting 4x time per work. So work efficiency. So they're stupid who says that they need to get more done. That's why they don't sleep. But they get 4 times more done when they sleep. So it's quite stupid if I dare say so myself. But damn, they're freaking stupid. You have your priorities wrong, sir. I don't think you should think of the, let's say, when you do work, I don't think you should think of the entire process when you do something. that is a hack for me to avoid procrastinating, not thinking the entire process, because more and more and more and more in your plate, well, you will procrastinate, right? You will lay that off to get these things done first, and then that, when you procrastinate, everyone, I think nearly everyone does it, but procrastination could be done in even normal tasks. There's like cleaning and making food. You like, I'm not gonna clean because I eat food, and then you never get to clean. So it's kind of, you forget and you procrastinate. So a hack is not to think of the entire process involved. That has helped me tremendously. I believe that the thing you're working on should be consuming you. What I mean is that things that you work hard on should be consuming, such as scripts, reading, or whatever productive thing you do, because I think that's when I am like truly conscious of my work and nothing else, when I'm very deep in my work, I believe that that's the time where I get those deep work sessions and get a lot of things done. And if you don't know a deep work session, that's basically, it's hard to kind of translate, but deep work session is basically the most productive session. Like if you work, that's the undisturbed, most productive, most effective session, where you get most of things done and you're super present, aware of what you're doing. That is basically deep work. Sleep is basically, it sets all the fundamental system, it resets all the system, it heals you. It's a healing, resetting process. It resets all the systems, all the hormones, all the neurons. Like, sleep is the most important thing that exists. If you don't sleep, you die, right? But it sets all of your fundamental needs. And there is not even a single reason to skip sleep. Not a single one. I never do that. Never. And especially don't skip your sleep because I was out a party all night. I was doing that all night. Your energy and your ability to work is increased tremendously. No, it's not increased tremendously. It's decisive on whether you sleep or not. You have no energy and no ability to work if you do not sleep. So it's a requirement for you to work and be productive. And it's literally a break while being productive. Sleep is the most important thing, and it's productive to sleep. So it's a productive break. So sleep is the most productive break. So in this video, I will cover how you can avoid these 1,000, 10,000, 1 million thoughts prior to sleep. All these thoughts, now I get, journaling, I get that thought, I get that thought. There are many reasons, because you simply don't chill any other time, because you're deep in everything, deep in work, let's say. I think that you should spend, your meditations, I think you should spend at least 1 hour of that, so you can meditate maybe 20, but then you're gonna journal 40 minutes, because I'll guarantee you, I got 4 or 5 videos idea prior to sleep, because, man, and by me journaling them, I could actually calm down before sleep, and I will talk about that a bit later in the video, why journaling your thoughts prior to sleep is very good. And in this video I will also talk about how you can stay awake and active during a class session in school. Not being a guy thinking of all the other things, video games, movies, thinking about TikTok, thinking about things on social media, you know what I mean? And actually be able to focus on what the teacher has to say. And also how you can get energetic throughout the day and manage a workout as well, and maybe work in your business. I will also tell you how the neurons work in a very, very simple manner. Very simple. Not that detailed at all. Not at all. Not like my breathing guy, where I went pretty much into detail. And you will also learn in this video how many of your life problem is a direct cause of you getting insufficient amount of sleep. So if you wanna pass through the world looking alive and non-AFK, and you want the confidence to walk in the classroom without shame, if you wanna know how to better your sleep and some free hacks to fix all of your fundamental needs, if you wanna be the sexy and dignified guy, I now then command you to watch this whole video in order. No skipping like most do, please. You don't realize that you will gain actually more value from this segment if you watch it in order. Watch everything in order. It might be too much to ask for you to watch this on one sitting, but I watch it in order at least. So you will gain a lot more value from doing just that. You don't need a Pomodoro technique. You can watch it. I think you can watch it in one sitting, but I don't think you kind of have the time. But I do recommend you watch most of it, right? And especially it's very important that you watch it in order and don't skip. And that you keep it your full attention. Be other present. Don't go into other tabs. Go suggest the videos, comment, have many tabs open. Right there. Go to full screen. Click on full screen so you can give it your full another attention. And by you staying this focused and by you not distracting yourself with all these things, you will literally be able to implement all these steps in the video. So you'll literally be able to implement all the things to fix your sleep and optimize it, gain sleep, make your sleep more effective and efficient, up that sleep efficiency, fix your sleep issues, problem during night, day. This is a step-by-step guide to mastering your sleep. I put this video in a way that you would be able to do the practices and tools and implement them in real life. And the supplements, the sections are in order for a reason, so that's why you shouldn't skip it. Skip 2. That's also another reason why you shouldn't. And this is also probably the only sleeping video and sleeping hacks you will ever need to optimize that fundamental of health and self-present. Today, when you walk away, you will conquer your competition with magic testosterone. Your body will be maxed out, and you will max out his capabilities to conquer everyone and everything around you. You will conquer everything and everyone around you. So, story. People often overlook sleep. So did I. I underestimated sleep, and I got the consequences in my face. I got them firsthand. I had the constant 24/7 headaches when I slept 6 hours instead of my 9, which I should have. The problem is that I was not productive at all, not really. I struggled in school, and that was the only time I did something slightly productive. To tell you the truth, I stayed like 30 minutes in bed every morning. I was like, I can't get up. No matter what, I wait to this last minute. So I basically have my phone check the time until the 10 minutes before bus. I can I was eat fucking what I eat, bread in bed. That was my breakfast. Fucking meathead idiot, right? The bus was about 2 minutes away, and I was late majority of the time. And it took 8 minutes to get to arrive at school in the bus. And of course I listened to music on the bus because I needed some extra stimulation. Cause fuck me, also. I moved 30 minutes a day. So I basically moved my ass 30 minutes a day outside of my fucking my chair, my bed. My bed was the time I spent time in bed more than, and I mean I spend like 20 hours in bed. That's like all my wake hours in bed. Like man, I feel ashamed when I talk about this, but anyways, when I arrived at school, I was always thinking of movies and video games. Oh my god, a new town. Oh my god, My Little Pony. Oh my god, anime. Oh my god, whatever video games, movies at that time. Oh my god. So I was basically thinking the whole day of movies and video games, and that's all the time in school. And when I wasn't in school, I played the video games and watched the movies. So basically, the whole 24 hour I thought about movies and video games. Because even when I was asleep, I had like dreams of video games. So fuck that. Oh my gosh, I was like 24/7 because video games and movies. That was my laugh around revolved around that, and that's why it was very difficult to take a step back from that, but I think I've improved quite a while. I think that overstimulating activities destroy your brain and reprograms your brain to not sleep as much. So my sleep wasn't good, right? My perception of time was horrible, of sleep diminished when doing hyperstimulating. So basically, kind of perception of time disappeared. So it was kind of 4 a.m. maybe it's time to sleep, maybe. And then I can wake up 7 to school, like 3 hours barely, and then I didn't even get a single REM sleep, deep sleep. My sleep efficiency was pretty good though, because I was so fucking tired because I didn't sleep a shit. So I think my sleep efficiency was good, but I didn't think I got a single REM sleep in a while. I didn't get. That's why I didn't get taller. That's why I was a shorted guy in school. Probably. Oh my god. It's really dangerous, this hyperstimulating fix. Messed up my life in so many ways. As the days go by and all the thoughts of hyperstimulating, why it's bad, I get every day I hate it even more and more and more. And that's good because maybe you want to check out my 4 ways to beat an addiction forever. I said that the most important thing is to despise and kind of despise those habits and think of them as haram and discriminate them as much as you can. So when I was, back to the story, so when I was 13 or 14, it was the worst time of my life. I slept while watching a movie. Yeah. I slept while watching a movie. I watched so long until my eyes fell asleep. I literally waited to fall asleep while watching movies. I had a cinema in my bed, watched 48 hours in the weekend. I binge ate as well all the time. I ate a whole package of bread and I ate whatever I found. I took the whole fridge of ice cream, whatever candy there was, every cake, whatever good stuff, even all the normal food and all the chicken nugget, all the fucking chicken nugget things, all the fucking guide up and master shit. But I ate everything I could find, man. I binge ate like a fucking idiot because I was hungry. I ate all the fucking time. All these fucking stupid fitlands tell you can eat whatever you want. I also formed a habit of eating every time I got to the screen because, a lot of guys can probably relate to this, that when they get to the screen, they usually reach for some kind of food. So it was like a habitual habit of reaching for food. So every time I went to that screen, even if I didn't watch movies, I did like the whole fucking 24-hour cycle. But the time I didn't, I was like, the time I had to study like 5 minutes to school. was eating at the same time, so I was fucking hating it, man. Like, it was impossible for me to do work, because when I do this instant gratification, doing other work is impossible. That's why I should never do it. So, my brain, I had associated a pattern in my brain that made me reach for food every single time I went to my screen, which I find is dumb. Yeah, so kind of stupid to associate dining when doing work, because when you are doing work, you want to focus on your work, not fucking eating. You idiot, Eskil. That's why I think these are really important, these life lessons. That's why I want to emphasize them for you. And the biggest problem with having your bed as a cinema is not only habitual, the reason for food and not being able to focus, is that you, every time you get to bed, you have that urge to watch a cinema. I promise you, every time you're to sleep, you think of that movie. How you're supposed to sleep? When you're thinking about Rick and Morty every time you're supposed to sleep, or whatever shit you watch nowadays. But it ain't possible to get to sleep when you think about those things. So, yeah, prior to sleep you want to watch movies. Not a good idea. There are two major problems with this. First, you're wanting to watch when you are to get to bed. When you are to sleep, you want to watch. And never getting out of bed because you want to watch TV. Right? Same. That's why I think that's one of the reasons why it took 30 minutes to get out of bed. One, because I slept 3 hours. Two, because I want to watch TV, right? It's like I had to associate my brain with watching TV every time I'm in bed. You know, I just have my fucking gaming set up in bed. Like, it's making it a habit to watch fucking TV, and that's my problem to get to school, man. I struggle being in school, man. This is a crazy theory, or did I dream less and slept less because I thought of movies when I was asleep? I literally thought of movies and video games while I was asleep. I literally capped my learning by coping for TV, man. What the hell? When you watch TV in bed, you are a full-on idiot, degenerate, and a guy who doesn't give a fuck. A guy who gave up on his life. I told Jeffrey. I wonder why I always were so tired in class. You can probably relate to this as well. That, as I said, you can never listen to what the teacher is saying. They thought, oh, you have a problem with hearing. No, I didn't, because my brain was destroyed. Was not as it should be. I was always tired in class. You can listen to a single word the teacher said, and maybe you can relate this, maybe you can't, but I slept on the chair in school. I was like this. I done this the whole time. I was like reading. I was struggling with reading one single page. In school I couldn't fucking read, if I idiot. Meathead, stupid crackhead, man. I was sleeping on the chair. I couldn't read a page. Like, I could read, but I was never able to remember a single sentence, so kind of a waste to read now, ain't it, right? If that's the case. So basically I had ADHD when I basically developed ADHD, basically. I basically had ADHD. I developed ADHD by being so consumed by these video games and movies, man. You develop ADHD, so ADHD often. Even another reason why you shouldn't watch and do instant gratification, man. I hate instant gratification. Oh, fuck, that's fucking stupid. That's how I'm at high level, mate. And I had that experience firsthand, so I truly know how fucked up it is. So please, man, everything in life will be easier. Every single fucking life. I think that replacing instant gratification is even more beneficial than maybe fixing sleep. Nah, it's the same, but there are many problems. When I first-hand experienced many of these problems, such as binge eating, never focusing, can't read, and all these things. Couldn't perform good habits because I was too stupid. So yeah, I was struggling with reading something very easy. And I always slept in the later ends of the day. Like, I always slept in the last lecture, the last class in school after lunch. So my afternoon break was kind of sleeping. I was struggling to keep my eyes open in in class. And this happened nearly every day. This happened, I think, every other day. The only time I didn't was when I was having PE class for some reason. Many of the reasons why I was tired all the day, I think I was eating all the time, having many meals a day, and my diet was horrible. Horrible diet, ate a huge big meal, so you can probably realize why I struggled so much. Oh man, really struggled. I really couldn't really focus on the class and my work in front of me. Yeah, if you're interested in my diet and my ideal diet video, my full non-bull guide in to fix your energy, increase testosterone, increase productivity, energy, and all these things, I recommend you check out the full diet guide in the link in the description. By the way, if you think I'm so tired, I am really tired right now recording this video. Man, I spent about 2 days in this video, man. I spent a lot of time, so I'm really tired. And then I've been working some, and I ate a lot just not that long ago, so I'm quite tired. That's why my video going down. That's why this video ain't as good as I thought I could do. Man, I'm really freaking tired. I didn't sleep as well this night. And this is a sleeping guide, so well, and another story I wanna share you, like oh man, like, you know the feeling when you need to take the piss, right? You really need to take the piss in the middle of the night, and then you see that light, and then I couldn't really sleep. I was like taking the piss 100 times because I drank so much water before sleep and all these things, and I couldn't fall back asleep, and then I did get shit sleep, and oh my god, it was even worse. That story, man, was so horrible. Yeah, so next section then. So I will cover now some fundamentals in sleeping and a morning routine you can try, and I will talk a bit about the sunlight and its effect on you getting sleep and energy. So the first step that is really important to do in the day, I think everyone should do daily. I do it daily, and it has changed my life forever. Get your ass out in the sun. And I mean in the morning. Get your ass. The first thing you do when you wake up, maybe you want to drink some water, but the first thing, get your ass out in the sun. Get that sunlight exposure. The first thing, once you wake up, get sunlight. I've got many reasons, but 3 reasons here is, simply put it, you get red light exposure to your eyes, because quite complicated, but there are a special type of light from the sun in the morning and the evening which you cannot get in the day, so that red light exposure to your eyes really gets you going, up that energy. And another reason is that it does not postpone that circadian rhythm, and I will talk about that a bit later, why circadian rhythm is. And you want to get a cortisol peak in the morning. This is the most important thing. Cortisol peak in the morning. If you get a cortisol peak in the morning, your energy will be higher throughout the day. So I will explain them so that you can implement them. And there might be some limiting beliefs. What if there is no sunlight? I said you want to get sunlight exposure in the morning and all these things. But what if there ain't no sunlight? If this is what you think, this kind of shows your incompetence in many ways. If it's not dark, there is a sun. So if it's not completely dark, get out there. Because, yeah, it's really difficult for you because you won't really realize the intensity and the lux of the sun and the artificial lights. You won't really see the difference. But you getting sunlight is the most important thing in the morning. So you getting sunlight is really important. So if it's not totally dark and black and all these things, go out and get your sunlight. What if it's a cloudy day? What if the sun is not there? I can't see the sun, it's very cloudy. Well, I said the sun is up if it's not completely dark. Even if it's a cloudy day, you're still getting a hell lot of more light, brightness and intensity than you would of artificial lights. You're still getting that morning sunlight. You are right that the sunlight is not as intense as clear days. Yeah, you might be right. But that just means you need a prolonged sunlight exposure in the morning. Just means you need to maybe increase that time of being out in the sun by some more minutes, right? Why not go out later when the sun is peaking? That's another belief, limiting beliefs, right? Because then you won't really get out of the sun. But there are many reasons why you should do it in the early part of the day and not when the sun is peaking. Because you maybe think that when the sun is peaking there are more sun, the sun is more intense and bright, kind of, but there are two problems with that. It's not in the morning because it's after 8 or 9 a.m. when the sun is peaked. The peaking of the sun is, I think it's 12 a.m. so there are problems that it's not in the morning, and it delays your circadian rhythm, which I talked about. Let's. What is the artificial rhythm? And I will explain it for you now. Then, circadian rhythm is basically your 24-hour clock of sleep. So, what that means is that it's basically a timer when you are to get to sleep. So if you delay that timer, let's say you get sunlight exposure when you wake up 7 a.m. and you get it 12, you basically delay your sleep by 5 hours. Now you might think I sound very insane and intense. Well, you won't get as good sleep and not that sleep intensity that you really want if you delay that sun viewing. Get that in the early part, get it just after you wake up. Just run out there. Maybe put some clothes on, but then maybe, you have to put some clothes on. And then get out there, because your circadian rhythm will then start, and if you start early, you will also be able to get to sleep a bit earlier. That means that you will be able to get to sleep when you want to, and maybe you want to get a lot of sleep because you care about your health and yourself. Then don't delay the circadian rhythm. So get out that sunlight in the morning. And the second problem with waiting to get out in the sun is that you're not getting the red light, which is only in the morning, and that signals our nervous system to stay awake. So I don't think that's a good idea. Another limiting beliefs or a statement that won't work: why not use my phone in the morning? There are many reasons why you shouldn't. Many, such as not being productive. Because, when you're on your phone, you're kind of glued to it for a time. You're kind of unconscious. That is basically when I'm at my phone, I'm like mindless and basically unconscious of my self-thought, of myself. So I'm basically getting glued to the phone. And in the case of sleep, artificial light is not, I repeat, not a replacement of real sunlight exposure. Artificial light is not a replacement for sunlight exposure. you won't get that red light or that cortisol peak in the morning if you rely on artificial light, although it can be very beneficial if there is no sun at all, which it always is. Maybe there are some days when it's really, really dark in the winter, but yeah, because you won't get all of the benefits if it's not real sunlight exposure. I mean, exposure to you. So that red light and you really need that red light in the morning. That's why you wanna get out early. And the artificial light is not, and your phone light, your screen light is not a replacement, because the intensity of the light is not good. You need as intense as possible in the morning, and then in the evening you want as little as possible. I will go into that a bit later in this video. Why you don't want any light exposure in the evening. So yeah, artificial light is not a replacement for sunlight exposure. Circadian rhythm, as I said, is a nighttime and daytime activity. If your nighttime gets lively, your daytime gets lazy. By postponing the circadian clock, you're postponing sleep, as I said. If you use the phone as a habit in the morning, you actually, I think you deserve to have a messed up circadian rhythm, messed up sleeping schedules, and messed up waking energy clock, being productive, being tired. You deserve it being unpredictable. Why does sunlight exposure early help with getting in bed later? Yeah, it doesn't postpone that sleeping, so that's one of the reasons. So the circadian rhythm controls when to sleep and to stay awake. It will very much aid you in sleeping if you get that early cortisol peak. Mean that you can actually never gain hours of sleep if you aren't getting sunlight exposure. People tend to forget sleep efficiency when they say they need 9 hours of sleep. They get 6 during the night and then 3 in the afternoon, and that won't help, because it won't help at all to get that next 9 hours of sleep the next day. So it will likely make it 6 or 7 again. So you want to have a routine where you get about 9-10 hours of sleep. You want to get same amount of sleep every day, even on weekends, even on breaks, summer breaks, even on whatever circumstance you have. You want to get that sleep. It's really, really important. The only way to follow the natural rhythm of sleeping is through following the sun and the circadian rhythm, meaning that you want more sleep to gain back lost sleep. So you are to get your ass out in the sun. You aid yourself to follow the natural curve, which is circadian rhythm, and as a result, better sleep efficiency and sleep in general. We want to prolong the deep sleep, the real REM sleep, the good ass sleep, which is usually in the middle of the night, usually meaning that we will get better sleep and more, right? Best time to get sunlight exposure, and how do I know when to go out and get that sunlight exposure? Yeah, when do I know when it's actually the right time? Not just beside that it's being totally dark. As I said, when waking up is amazing, but only if the sun is up, right? If it's pitch dark, then there's no sun, then I recommend getting light from an artificial light source. So only then should you, but it's never a replacement for sunlight exposure. That's really important. Never a replacement for sunlight exposure. The perfect time is when you can look at the sun when it's rising, and you don't have to blink really, because you should blink. It's good because it might be damaging if you don't. Blink whenever you can, because otherwise that can cause damage to the neurons in the eyes. It might even cause damage when you blink, so you should never look directly at the sun. That could cause some damage to the neurons. But when the sun is not as bright enough to trigger, when the sun is not bright enough to trigger a blink, that is the best time to get that morning red light from the sun, and that is when you will get that cortisol peak and get up like half an hour earlier every day and get better sleep in the process. That's what I did. I wake up an hour early every day, and I wake up pretty early sometimes. But yeah. Why is sunlight exposure better than artificial light? Common problems is that artificial light is perceived. Yeah, the common problem is that artificial light in general is perceived to be brighter or as bright, but in reality it isn't. Artificial light is it's very concentrated at one spot, meaning that whereas the sun is not, so meaning that the sun is less concentrated at a specific area, so you get more, the lux is brighter, you actually get the brighter light, meaning that you perceive it as bright as the sun, but if you check the lux, light intensity at one spot, which is lux, you're getting thousands of lux from the sun, whereas a lamp you get like barely 100. It's like 1,000 times more ineffective to use artificial light, and so sunlight exposure is more than 1,000 times more effective. Better light and brighter light, which is what you want in the morning. That is truly what you want. You want a bright light in the morning, a good light. And the sun is the best thing, the best way, and many other benefits, right? Only in the morning you want intense light. You don't want that in the evening. Sunlight exposure, I'm going to talk about why sunlight exposure is really important, because sunlight exposure through windows, and then I mean like get sun through windows and then get lights from phone and from sunglasses, don't really work, because sunlight exposure is translated to exposing yourself to sunlight by looking through the window or the curtain. You won't get all of the effects of the sunlight. And the same with artificial light of any kind. Sunglasses block some as well, some of the benefits. So ideally get real sunlight exposure. So sunlight exposure is the same as exposing yourself to sunlight. So you might be asking how long to expose oneself to sunlight. Well, this is very depending. I think on clear days, usually 5 to 10 minutes is what you should focus on. 5 to 10 minutes, around that. Maybe more, it never hurts to get more, but at least 5 to 10 minutes. On cloudy and darker days, at least 15 to 30, so more double or more than double in cloudier days. So still get out when it's a cloudy day. And of course note that these only apply to real sunlight exposure, no 5 to 10 minutes in the window. You need to get 5 to 10 minutes to expose yourself, real sunlight exposure, exposing yourself there in the sun, outside. Sunlight, you know what sunlight does in the morning? It suppresses melatonin. You've probably heard of this in supplementation, Materialistic form, but when you get sunlight, you get the cortisol peak as we talked about. But you will also suppress your melatonin, and melatonin is actually a hormone that makes you sleep. So that's another reason why you won't get tired. So when you suppress that by getting that morning sunlight, you suppress the sleeping hormone. So think about it, getting more energy by cortisol increase and suppressing that natural sleeping hormone, which makes you sleepy, melatonin. So you suppress the sleeping hormone. Melatonin makes you sleepy, and it's all in your bloodstream early in the morning, so meaning that if you do not get that morning sunlight exposure, you'll be tired even though you slept well, because you will have melatonin in your blood flowing. Horrible things such as these are so much so, and why I need to synthesize and make a video out of this, why I really want to, why I am passionate about making this video, because horrible if you don't know them, horrible if you don't get that sunlight exposure in the morning, horrible if you have melatonin throughout the day, horrible if you can't increase that body temperature and that getting that sunlight in the morning. So it's so horrible. I hope that's why I also synthesize this. I hope you can implement them pretty easily. So what about sunlight exposure in the evening? Well, artificial light has a tremendous effect on us, especially in the evening. It's not a replacement for sunlight exposure in the morning. Even in the evening, stay the hell away from them. So, stay the hell away from artificial light in the evening. Personally, I do recommend not having any artificial light on the 2 to 3 hours window prior to sleep. turn grayscale, sleep mode, or dark screen on your phone or screen to negate the worst of the effects of artificial light. The yellow light is better, but it's still better to not have any light on at all. So if you really have to, put on yellow light, that not negate most of the good effects. It will, because artificial light kind of destroy that melatonin sleep hormone. So yeah, results in you actually being able to sleep if you put on that grayscale yellow light, screen protection thing. It's really good. We are in general very sensitive in the evening, so it's the opposite in the morning. It's kind of, in the morning we want as much light and as bright light as possible, and in the evening we want not a single light, we want the sun, but we want as little light as possible. Something that I learned that was very weird and I could not believe is that sunlight from a sunset is preferable. Meaning, we want light, but only from the sun. Getting sun from the sunset or in the evening triggers your body and eyes that you're about to hit the second sleep. So that makes it easier to sleep, right? Because that triggers your neurons and eyes that now I'm about to get to sleep. So exposure to evening sun is not a hindrance in every way, but is actually essential for regulating your sleep and follow the natural curve and rhythm. So that was about this section then. On to the next section. $46.20. Okay. I'll talk about temperature and sleep environment. So you definitely want to leverage temperature as a tool. It will help you regulate sleep and further aid you and help the circadian rhythm, the 24-hour sleep and awake cycle, which we talked about earlier. Temperature is actually also very beneficial in forms of waking up, especially in the first hours after waking up. So more energy, essentially. You can use this as a tool to increase body temperature, and that can be very, very beneficial. So when we want to sleep and wake up, a lot of that actually revolves around the temperature. Let's say in the summer you may find it very difficult to fall asleep. In the winter it might be pretty simple. Now why is that? I think that mainly it's that our body is actually dependent on the temperature in our room to fall asleep and wake up. Because when we get to sleep, did you know this, that we are actually decreasing our body temperature by 2 to 3 degrees when we get to sleep. So it's actually a requirement for us to get to that sleeping stage. So when we wake up, it's actually the opposite. So our body temperature increased by 2 to 3%. So when we get to sleep, there's a requirement 2 to 3 degrees, decrease in body temperature, and then when we wake up, we need to increase 2 to 3 degrees. So in the end, we follow the circadian rhythm, the natural curve. So in the end of the curve, our kind of body temperature increases, so we wake up. So that 2 to 3 degrees is a requirement. So it's requirement for getting sleep, and that's also how you wake up. That's why you wake up when you're very hot in bed. Same with waking up by the... so you can use this tool of temperature to even further leverage, and essentially you can use this tool to make you very, very energetic, man. You can get really energetic by using this tool, especially in the morning. And it helps that cortisol increase, because cortisol increase can be done through sunlight, getting that increased bodily temperature. So it's the second principle, right, to make that cortisol peak, which we talked about earlier, and the benefits are truly important, right? So this can basically make you just as energetic as when you were a child. So how? By increasing the body temperature, there are some ways, like, let's say, in the morning, what I personally do is I do get out in the sun and get that morning sunlight, that red light, and then I do that jogging to increase that body temperature, and then I do cold shower to increase that body temperature even further. Cold shower, you probably heard a lot about it, but cold shower is one that does most by increasing body temperature. I think it does the most. It increases the body temperature by a lot, and then jogging as well. So cold showers are great to get that energy up. It gets you going, right? If nothing else, that will wake you up. Cold exposure in forms of cold tubs or cold shower, they both release adrenaline, epinephrine from your brain and body. It will lead to a substantial increase in blood pressure. Blood is sent to, then further, when you get that cold water on, let's say, your arm, then blood is sent, the blood pressure here, blood is sent to heat up that specific spot because it's cold. So your exposure to cold will heat up the core of your body, and that part where so if you took a cold shower, your whole body will increase your core body temperature, and by increasing that core body temperature, you will increase body temperature. And that is why it increases that temperature. It also, cold shower triggers dopamine and makes a dopamine release or recharge. So recharge your dopamine system in the morning, which is very important for you to get work done, right? Focus, prioritize your purpose, your work, whatever you do. And probably a lot of people already know what dopamine is, but yeah, just briefly talk about it here, right? Dopamine, as many know, is a hormone that will make you stick to the cold showers because it's often associated with pleasure but also motivation, so it can further increase the momentum in your work. So, well, cold showers increase that momentum in your work, and dopamine recharge, and the dopamine from it, natural dopamine, is very good because dopamine is not bad. Have too high of dopamine is bad, and too low of dopamine is bad. You need high natural dopamine. That's the best way, because why is high dopamine bad? It's because you get low dopamine, because too low dopamine is depression, and when you do high dopamine activities, it kind of gets below a baseline of dopamine, so it gets lower than it naturally is. So that's why depression is same as dopamine being really, really low, right? What about jogging then? When moving the body and the muscles, that also signals that you are moving and make you wake up. By increasing the core body temperature by running or jogging, you're getting that cortisol peak much faster. So combine this with sleep and sunlight, so combining with sleep and sunlight is highly recommended. Combining this to get that. It's very good to get, you're out getting sunlight and why not get a jog when you're at it? It's really good too for you. So it will really get a cortisol peak pretty early, which you really, really want to. That's the ideal way, right? So temperature is a tool for falling asleep. You want the opposite of high body temperature in the evening. So you want really, really low. You want low temperature in the evening. I talked about that. You need to decrease the body temperature by 2 to 3, otherwise you won't fall asleep. So by decreasing that body temperature, you will find it very much easier, a lot easier to get to sleep. So that requirement to fall asleep, it's a very good idea to leverage temperatures as a tool to fall asleep, right? So how? By fixing your sleep environment. We talked about cold showers and baths and why that is ideal in the morning. What about hot baths and showers? Hot baths can be pretty beneficial in the later part of the day. This is an extra thing that you can implement. I don't think it's the most important thing myself. But essentially what that warm exposure does is that it calms you down and decreases the temperature in your body. So it has the opposite effect of cold shower, which is increasing that body temperature, because you're decreasing, because your body don't have to work. It's the opposite. So it will aid you in decreasing that 2 to 3 degrees, meaning you will find it a lot easier to fall asleep. Although the best method to fall asleep is sunset viewing, and cold environment I think is the most effective. And just splash some water on your face will get pretty cold by that as well, pretty easy to get to sleep. So as previously mentioned, how to fix sleep environment, and fixing your sleep environment is the key to fall asleep in my opinion. So how? Simply by making the sleep environment cool, and it can be done through making the room you sleep in very cool. Like open your windows and get some fresh air, can be done. Cold air, and do that 1 to 2 hours prior to sleep, because it will take a while. When I like 10 to 20 minutes before sleep, that didn't really work. It was still hot in the summer. You need to have like 1 to 2 hours prior to sleep, and then have all your systems, let's say your computer, all the things that's emitting a lot of heat, close that device, so of course you won't get more heat. But yeah, you really should open up that window and get some fresh air and cool air through in the room, right, to cool that environment. Oh my god, someone's screaming. These walls are very, very thin, so you can hear a single word. But anyways, another thing you can do is turn the phone off, not just for not viewing the artificial light, so not only for, because you know that light from artificial light sources is very bad for you, especially in the evening. So turn your phone off for just not viewing the artificial light, but also for not getting those radiations, because there are emitting radiations. Our phone releases radio frequency electromagnetic waves. These have been shown to be very dangerous for living tissue. It's also supported by strong science, and it's not only my intuition and insight on those things, it's also science, right? So those radiation are dangerous. You can just put on don't disturb, no notifications, maybe put your airplane mode when you sleep. But yeah, if you're worried or someone wanna reach you, someone needs to call you, put on don't disturb, because then calls can get through. But the notifications and the radiation in general is very bad, so I don't think you should sleep with your phone in the same room, for many good reasons, by you not getting losing track of time, not getting sleep, and viewing that artificial light which destroys that you're sleeping, and also the radiations which are bad for you. So I think you should put it somewhere else. I think that's very beneficial. Next section then. I have actionable step for your sleep environment. Probably everyone in here who are listening this far can open the video and open their windows. I mean the windows, as I said, you want that cool environment for sleep, even if it's in the day. But I really recommend you doing it like 2 hours before bed. But not only is you're getting some fresh air, which is very good for you, and you will also be able to enhance your working environment by simply getting some fresh air. And the air outside will always be superior than the one in your warm room, with your mold room, your stuffy room, stuffy nose. Not only do you set yourself up for a better sleeping environment, but also a work environment. So it's a very good actionable step. You should open up the window and get some fresh air in. It's a zero cost tool, right? It's zero cost. Many often forget to do it, so if you're watching this, they probably do it right now. You can pause the video or whatever. But of course, getting good air is highly depending on where you live. If you live in the middle of a busy part of the city, maybe it's not a good idea, or maybe if you're living and the air is very bad. But But even then, just getting some air, I think it's better than that of your room. I don't know where you live, but if you live in the middle of a Dubai or whatever, it's industrial site, maybe it's not good, but I think it just get some air in will really enhance that environment around you for both work and sleep, set you up for that sleeping later on. So the other benefits in doing this, you will get some more lighting, which can be very good for your working environment. Some real light from outside, as previously noted. Not as good as real exposure to sun, but can be very effective than some artificial light. I want you to open the curtains. Maybe not if the sun is really hot, but if you're in the middle of the summer, but just opening the window and getting that air sets you up for success later. So maybe have your curtains closed if it's really, really sunny, but just get some air in. It will benefit you a lot, I'm just saying. That is what I believe. So what about caffeine then? Well, I think that you should avoid caffeine intake between 0 to 120 minutes, meaning only 2 hours after waking up. So don't drink within the first 120 minutes of waking up. So avoid drinking caffeine after 2 hours after rising and waking up. It's preferable to avoid an afternoon crash, which usually happens around 2 to 4 p.m. unfortunately. This crash makes you very tired, too tired, so freaking tired. As tired as in the evening, even more so. I get so tired in the afternoon crash. I recommend to not intake weed in the first 2 hours of racing. I also strongly recommend to do not intake in the afternoon. That has negative effect on the sleep architecture, and you're getting too much energy, not being able to sleep, and you're getting mentally tired and done. So no, it should not be done after 2 p.m. I think 2 to 4 p.m. No, not at all. Not after. I think 2 p.m. is the latest, but definitely not after 4 p.m. No. I think 2 p.m. is late enough. I think like 1 or half 2. When you're eating a late lunch, maybe you can take a coffee if you want. But yes, don't drink coffee later than 2 p.m. That's what I think. So in the morning, avoid caffeine within the first 120 minutes. And also avoid exercise. Not all exercise, of course. But let's say example resistance training or intense workouts or intense training. It might prove difficult for some that has limited time, because most guys and most people actually take their workouts before getting to work, and then so they might not have time for it. But I realize that most can't, but I really recommend you to do it a bit later in the day, to not get that crash. If you don't struggle with going to the gym, make it at least after 2 hours after racing, so not in the first. I think that about 4, maybe even 6 hours after racing is the perfect time. For other reasons, there's a productivity reasons and work reasons, but yeah. So there are 2 reasons for waiting to exercise, in my opinion. The first one is you want to leverage energy to your work in the morning when you're most productive, when you are fasted, right? You want to avoid that afternoon crash. There are 2 reasons why you should wait to do exercise in the beginning. So a quick jog while getting morning sunlight won't cause much of crash, so you don't have to worry about that jog, which I talked about earlier, because I said intense exercise. So a normal jog I don't think will have any issues in you getting that crash. I don't think it has anything to do with the crash, so you don't have to worry about that. So, well, next section then. So, this section is very optimal for perfecting your sleep, but can prove expensive for some. But it's valuable if you want to optimize sleep further, but it will cost you. Maybe it will be a goal for you to get these things. Maybe it's one of your goals to push you further in your business. Maybe you want to fix your sleep even further because you know the benefits of the things I've talked about already and want to go to the even further, even go to the next level. So so yeah, this guide is pretty good, but it will cost you, right? So maybe you should skip this section if you're not willing, or no, don't skip this section because I will talk about some cheaper alternatives and then some really sleep related topics. So what you want here is a bed who is a non-esoteric, non-estrogenic and carcinogenic. Most of the mattresses actually has a label on them and it says air out before 24 hours before use. 24 hours before use. Your mattress is literally off-gassing toxins that you're breathing in every single night. Yeah, why? The stupid mainstream wisdom said smoking was healthy for you, man. Did you? That old times. The media said so, and the science said it was good. So everyone said it was good, right? Many smoked in bed for that reason. And the risk of a flame in the room and the bed was pretty high. So the answer to the smoking in bed is the result of companies who try to sell mattresses. They of course put flame retardants in them. Don't want them to burn up, right? In order to prevent fires, right? So unfortunately these flame retardants are highly toxic. The dystopic reality was that as a baby you were exposed to flame retardants, estrogenic and toxic when born. You were exposed to all these toxins and estrogenics when being born. No, even before being born. This is one of the reasons why sperm and testosterone are decreasing. That is one of the reasons why it's decreasing year by year. That's what I think. You even before getting born are getting sterilized and weakened in the womb by all these estrogenic things around the world. So you're getting sterilized and weakened in the womb. Before you even are alive, you can't do shit about it. And even in the first years of living, you can't do shit about it. Because you're very influenced by your parents, and if your parents are estrogenic, full of estrogenic, well, you will also, and it will take you a while, and you will be sterilized, right? That is why I think that's why it's pretty common actually these days to not be able to make kids. It's not fun, but it's horrible, but it's. Give me water. You may be thinking that. That's not how it works. If that were the case, wouldn't we have been extinct already or something? The answer is that we and the nature, the answer is that we and the nature in general is pretty anti-fragile actually, against all that. Does mean that we recover somewhere anti-fragile, but the toxins are making us weaker instead of killing us. So if we didn't have this anti-fragile recovery effects of sleeping, well then he would have killed us already. But we are anti-fragile, so when we sleep, we're actually recovering, and the sleeping the process is the biggest part of this recovery. If we don't sleep, well, we will never recover from all the toxins and the environment. Sleep is a detoxification progress, meaning that it's horrible. If you just think about it, it's a detoxification progress. So if we don't sleep, we're actually dying, because the environment around us is so toxic. So it's actually pretty toxic already. It's the dystopic future is already here, but we are so powerful as nature in general and are very good at this. But the problem is that, yeah, we're basically being sterilized and weakened before we're born, and if we don't sleep, we die, right? We get weaker, and we die after a while. So just horrible thinking about all these things. I think it's horrible. So, well, enough of my spouting already. Let's get to materialistic guide again. Right. You want a bed and a mattress to be made of latex, cotton, wool. Fun fact, when making a bed of organic substances such as latex, cotton, wool, so you want an organic bed, right? It's actually naturally flame retardant. You don't have to put in those stupid flame retardant substances. That's kind of stupid. As said, this section might be an expensive one, and well, I got some less expensive options for mattresses and sleeping. You can use a military cot as the military option to sleep, and you can use a tatami mat, which is the samurai Japanese option. They're very comfortable. These two are very comfortable and better than the estrogenic mattresses are, although an organic bed is probably the most comfortable but expensive at that. Unfortunately, if you're struggling with snorings, then you have to begin to nose breathe. Nose breathing will help you to subconsciously nose breathe during sleep. Check out my full breathing guide if you want more information on breathing and sleeping and breathing, nose breathing in particular. But basically, many of your sleeping issues will be solved by your nose breathing, and as a tool you can use is by taping that mouth so that you're unable to mouth breathe. It can good to teach you how to subconsciously nose breathe. Oh man, this camera, man. When you maybe get this question now, I talked about you need to tape your mouth. You're like, what the hell? Wait, my boy, yeah, that's going a bit too far. What if I suffocate? What if I do that? What if that happens? What if I don't recover? What if I die? What if I suffocate? You won't. You simply won't, because you will wake up long before you turn out of air, right? So putting medical tape is a essential and a very good and great tool. Another tool might be by using a sleeping mask, very beneficial. You want specifically a silk eye pad that goes over your eyes and shuts off the lights, very good, shuts off the lights. And we talked about light not being good or preferable when we are to sleep, because that suppresses our melatonin, which is our sleep regulating hormone. We want sleep, right? When we want to sleep. When we want to sleep, right? Why silk? Why a silk iPad? Why not a cotton or wool or organic, whatever organic silk, or whatever organic iPad you can find? Silk is good for your skin. It's smooth to your skin. It's perfect because it doesn't warm you up. So it's smooth when you lie hours in bed, and it doesn't warm you up, which is really necessary and very good for you improving that sleep quality. So you don't want that heat, because that's actually messing up your sleep more if you get that heat, because then you wake up 2 to 3 degrees. And we previously talked about that we wake up when our body temperature increases. Yeah, so you don't want anything other than silk, because then it won't really benefit you in any way, because that will make you up. Maybe it will make you darker in the environment, but you will wake up by the heat, so it's not worth it. So I recommend you having a silk pillowcase, because of the same reason that it doesn't retain that much heat and it doesn't damage your skin, and it's non-toxic as well, so it's very beneficial. that silk pillowcase and silk iPad, and why you should have silk yeah, pillowcase and yeah, what happened? Yeah, so that's the end of this section. Next section then, actionable step pre-sleeping guide. If you can't nose breathe subconsciously like a little mouth breathing unknowing degenerate idiot, although I've made a whole breathing guide on my channel, I will link it in the description for you. If you are the few, if you're one of the few, if you are still a guy, a girl, a human being that can't nose breathe or trying to nose breathe, for the love of God, put on a medical tape and breathe through your nose. Even resistance, it's hard to breathe through my nose. That increased resistance is what's benefiting your diaphragm. They say, I want to deepen my voice. If you want to breathe into the diaphragm, well, breathe into the diaphragm by nose breathing, please. This is the first step to fixing your sleep-related problems and daily issues. Daytime issues and sleeping issues. Most of them get fixed by you, yes. Nose breathing. And I have actionable step here for you, right? Take off your clothes. Close your curtains and then get to sleep. That's all you gotta do. What? Now? What the hell? What? You asking me to do what? Yeah. Sleep nude so that the detoxification process will be much more effective. If you're unable to sleep with underwear, if you aren't unable to sleep nude, use underwear, but ideally sleep nude, naked. Sleep naked. Good aid in decreasing your body temperature as well by not having much shit on, right? It will further fix the detoxification process by easier getting rid of toxins while sleeping. So you get rid of most of the toxin while sleeping. So sleep nude or sleep naked. Maybe have underwear max, but nah, you don't really have to sleep. You can sleep nude, right? Not a problem, right? Sleep posture. Sleep posture. By having the best sleep posture, you can detox the toxins better and more efficient. If you sleep in the right position, the two best sleeping positions are side. And now, when you sleep in the side, it's really important to have a pillow between your knees so that it opens up your hip angle slightly, which helps the blood flow and circulation, and it results in less stress to the joints, which is a big problem. That stress on the joints, that's why many don't recommend side. Side is amazing, because that's even better for detoxification problems. I myself can't sleep on the side. Unfortunately, I've tried it sometimes. Maybe I should try it again, but I had problems. I sleep on back, but sleeping on the side is very good. Some of you guys might be wondering about why is it bad? It's bad. You've always heard of people saying it's bad because a lot of stress. But yeah, if you have that pillow between your knees, it opens hip angles, results in less stress in the joints. Yeah, so less stress on the joints if you have a pillow between your knees. And what about back then? Sleeping on your back, you need to have a pillow. It's very important to have a pillow below the knees to elevate that leg slightly, help you purge those toxins more effectively. But it's not dangerous to not do it, but it will purge those toxins more effectively, and especially when you sleep naked as well, that will help you a lot to detoxify those. So, physiological sigh and meditation. Why? Physiological sigh will calm you down. If you have watched my breathing guy, or if you want to do it, links in the description. But anyways, physiological sigh it will help you calm down, and it's when you do deep inhale, a shorter inhale, and then a slow exhale through mouth. It will reintroduce calm. Oh, wow, I'm so calm now, and take you from fight or flight mode, and rather put you in calm mode instead of the fight or flight intense mode all the time. And fight and flight mode, that's the mode you get while you run from people, while you run from danger, while you're very stressed. So you want to go from fight or flight mode and rather reintroduce calm and be in calm mode, or else you will find it very difficult to get to sleep. That is what I believe. And another thing you can do to optimize and increase that sleeping quality by a lot too, if you're struggling with getting millions of thoughts all the time, which I said in my intro I will cover, so I do now, finally. Journaling can be very beneficial prior and before sleep, because it will get your thoughts in on the paper. It's, if you save your thoughts on paper, think of it, let's say, think of it as saving it on a hard drive, you know. You have your documents, you save it on a hard drive. That's the same with your thoughts. You calm yourself down when you have saved it on your hard drive, something you worked on very long. So instead of the thoughts being in your head flowing around, save it on your paper, save it in your hard drive. It's the same thing. That will calm your thoughts down, then lower your heart rate. And also by detach from technology and do deep breathing while meditating, and physiological style meditating, both are very good, but I recommend doing both meditating for a while to the presence training, and then physiological sigh if you're in fight or flight or stressed, or if you just want to reintroduce calm, because it's immediate effect. It's really physiological sigh, it's powerful as hell. It's immediate effect to reintroduce calm. Amazing. Lowers your heart rate, will really get you to sleep if nothing else, right? Breathe fully and calm your entire body down. Yeah, that's the end of this section. Optimizing air. Our air is not as the same as in the old days. Our air is filled with mold in the house, pollen and pollutants, and many toxins. Note that I talked about it's being good air outside. Well, that's if you have a moldy room, a warm room. I recommend you making it cool, but I recommend you opening that window for hours, and then maybe you have had it open, it's cold, and it's 2 hours before sleep. If it's cold already, really cold, then you can put on a HEPA filter. What is HEPA filter? It is a filter that filters out mold, pollen, pollutants, and toxins in your room. So that is making your airs better. So it's not as this. It makes our air as good as our ancestors in Greek and all the Rome in the old times, right? When the air was not full with all these pollen, pollutants, and toxins in air. So when we had good air, so HEPA filter can filter those out. Having this bared air is one of the reasons why our nose gets so stiffy. By the way, also you get a stiffy nose while even if you breathe through your nose all the time, which I said you should do. It might still be stiffy because it's full of mold and bad air, because we don't breathe the same air as our ancestors did. So, and humidifier. You can also use humidifier by optimizing your air. But why? Why a humidifier? Well, your air in your room might be quite dry and quite warm, and a humidifier will help you to moisturize the nose. Really good to make the easier breathing, right? You will ease your meditation session also if your air is moisturized. It will make the breathing better, and having good breathing while sleeping is really essential for improving sleep quality and efficiency. Yes. So that's this section then about optimizing air. 1:24:40. 1:24:46. Okay, supplementation is a scam. That's this section. I said in the video, and I have talked about that, we want high melatonin prior to sleep so we can get to sleep, because melatonin is the same as sleep regulating hormone, and it makes us tired. But it can also be consumed in force of supplementation, and it is a scam. And I will talk about why supplementing melatonin is a scam, why artificial melatonin doesn't work. By supplementing and intaking artificial melatonin, your natural melatonin production goes down. There is a part of our brain, especially the pineal gland, and it's TRT. Have you heard of TRT, testosterone? It lowers your natural testosterone production. Same with melatonin. It reduces that natural melatonin production. It kind of messes up your brain in some ways. It's same with fluoride, but it interferes with the natural way of creating melatonin, so it doesn't sound like a good idea. And that pineal gland is getting blocked and doesn't work when you supplement this melatonin, this so-called artificial melatonin. So it doesn't sound like a good idea. And as most antidotes or supplements, they tend to lose their effects over a long run. They will later on begin to give you diminishing returns, meaning you will not get that good effect, that great effect as you got in the first time. And in the long run, it will lower your natural production from your pineal gland and part of your brain that is negated and negatively intoxicated by supplementation from artificial melatonin, and so does fluoride. So sleep supplementation is a scam. That is what I think. That's the end of this section. Okay. Next section then. Stretches prior to sleep. Might be too complex, so I recommend you do 2 stretches. I recommend you do cobra and child pose prior to sleep. You know the cobra, it's like you do a push-up, but you raise your upper body in a special way. And child pose is when you get on the floor, have your arms in front of you and then have your stomach against your knees. And if you do those cobra and child pose prior to sleep, it can actually stretch out this back and spine muscle. Oh man, having a good yoga and a stretch session is amazing for you getting sleep. It's amazing. Note that if you're already doing some stretches, of course do those. These are just additional stretches that can help you get to a rested state and you get your spine together, right? Make it you relax your spine so you can get to sleep. Your back, it will feel really good when you sleep in your back and you have your spine sorted out, right? So definitely do your normal stretches. Da-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. So, common sleep problems. You've probably heard of sleep apnea. What is sleep apnea? It's basically excessive daytime sleeping and having problem falling asleep, right? But it's a very serious health concern, increasing the risk of cardiovascular event, heart attack, stroke, and more. It's also a direct cause of sexual dysfunction in males and females, on both genders. It results in worse cognitive function throughout the day, as previously mentioned, lack of oxygen during sleep, and it can lead to many nighttime and daytime issues, so not a good idea, right? And the best treatment for this horrible thing is nose breathing. Wait, what happened? Best treatment, nose breathing. So again, breathing more from nose and using medical tape to get that subconsciously, make that a habit, to have a habit to breathing through your nose, have that as a habit, as a nose breathing pattern while sleeping, especially during sleep. Very good to have that habit during wake times, hours, as well as sleeping hours. Very important. So by that increased resistance by nose breathing, it makes you prevent snoring. Snoring can also be a very serious health concern. The best treatment to snoring is making passive and subconscious and conscious nose breathing the normal. Put on medical tape to learn nose breathing, and nose breathing comes with enormous benefits and none of the negatives from mouth breathing. So far superior in every way. Do nose breathing all the time. And nose breathing, if you want to know everything about breathing, I put my breathing full guide in the link description below. Yeah, what about if I need to take the piss then? Well, being prepared is a good idea. When you get the urge to piss and you wake up by the signal, well, I gotta go. I need to go now. I need to take the piss now. When you bounce off bed, make sure that the night before you have toned down light or extinguished the light, because it can mess up your melatonin production if you get exposed in the middle of the night to some stupid idiot having the lights turned down in the evening. Turned on in the evening, that will mess up your melatonin. So basically, it's better to piss yourself to get better sleep than no. I'm not kidding. You're actually getting better sleep then, but that can be messy to piss yourself. Can be maybe you don't want that. Maybe you don't want that. But yeah, extinguishing the light is very important for your sleep, because it can truly mess up that melatonin production, and well, you will have a very hard time to get to sleep again. It's suppressing, meaning you will have a very hard time falling asleep. The negative is that you can't see where you piss because it's dark, but get used to it. To fix many of the nighttime problems, do nose breathing and tone down lights and extinguish them in order to fall back asleep. Then fear the lights. Be crazy. I won't judge. Be crazy. Fear the lights. Block the lights with whatever thing you have, whatever circumstance is necessary. Don't get any light exposure to your eyes in the evening. So be professional. Hide your eyes behind your arms or whatever when you get to if there's light outside or whatever. Block your eyes. Yeah, to not get that light in the neurons in the eyes. It's really important to get to bed at the same time and wake up the same time. Make a sleep schedule and make that consistent. And don't, for example, take it easy and have it fun on Friday evening. No. What many do is that I know it's weekend, so it's weekend, I just waste some time, so I spend a bit more time on my favorite movie and video game and lose their perception of time. They basically lose their perception of time. It results in that they get to bed at a later hour and don't have different sleep or wake up times on weekends or other times, breaks or whatever, days off. Don't. By making it consistent every single day, weekend breaks, whatever it might be, it will improve sleep because it follows a routine and the circadian rhythm. It's also a signal to the body that sleep is upon you. This will make it easier to schedule your day and take control over your days. As timetable creators, we want less side effects and unexpected things to pop up, so this is a very good way to do that and better you sleep even further. It's good to follow that natural curve circadian rhythm. That is truly what I think. It's really important. That's the end of this section then. So the last section. So last section. Exposure to sunlight is a bit of a summary and the ideal way. Exposure to sunlight within the first minutes after rising. Be active to increase body temperature by jogging while getting actual sunlight exposure. Afterwards, take a cold shower to boost your productivity and energy. And to get a cortisol peak. And minimize that melatonin in the morning, but you want it in minimize that melatonin. It's the best morning routine. If you're struggling with workout, put it early in the day, but it's not recommended to put it very early because you will get that afternoon crash. But it's the ideal way is then maybe 4 to 6 hours. The first 8 hours after waking up, put it in there, your workout, because that means you will make that a habit. If you're struggling with habits, that's the best way to put it early in the day, because it will be less limbic friction, less. It will be a lot easier, right? Less resistance in your workouts. Resistance training is already a lot of resistance just to get to the resistance training workout session. But anyways, so ideally like 6 to 8 hours after rising, so after waking up. To get that workout in, because you also want to leverage your energy and your capacity to work. That's why you don't want to get there in the first hours and the afternoon crash. 2 reasons: the fresh air by opening the windows for cooler work and sleep environment. You by having this cooler environment, you get a better work environment and a better sleep environment. And only artificial light in the day, no lights at all 2 hours prior to sleep, and artificial lights, only sunlight or sunset is allowed. Sleep in a cool environment, naked with a silk iPad on ideally. Do meditation or journaling to control those thoughts prior to sleep if you're struggling with millions of thoughts. Feel and visualize yourself being freed and lift the curse of stress on you. Do this while nose breathing with a medical tape on, especially when you can't control your breathing. Maybe you don't need that medical tape a bit later on, but it's very important in the first, when you're trying to make that habitual in the first subconscious way, right? Nose breathing. Go to bed hours before sleep to calm down. What I mean by that, maybe not hours, but sleep. Let's say you get in bed 10 hours before your 9 hours sleep, let's say 9 to 6, then you should get a lot earlier, because you don't want that stimulation, because it really gets those stupid thoughts. That's why you also journal to get mitigate those stupid thoughts which are messing you up and not making you be able to sleep right. So don't do anything very taxing or any lights to the brain or to exposure, because the first 1 to 2 hours before sleep. Journaling, reading, meditation is allowed, but no light when reading. These 2 hours before sleep, 1 to 2 hours before sleep. Sleep on the side or back, not other sleeping position, only sleep and back. No stomach sleeping, no sleeping whatever weird way. Sleep on side or back. Best is side for detoxification progress, but some might find it easier to sleep on back, right? Limit caffeine within the first 120 minutes of waking up and avoid afternoon crash by the workout very early. That is the points I've summarized in this video, right? And yeah, as always, remember to use your dark desires from preceding any types of work. And I guess I'll see you in the next video.